What does a successful sober summer actually look like in your definition?
A successful sober summer looks like clear mornings, calmer anxiety, real connections, better sleep, more money in your pocket, less chaos in your life, and slowly becoming somebody you're proud of. And most importantly, it's proof that happiness doesn't disappear when alcohol does. And that's when life actually starts feeling real again.
Join a club, join a book club, join a photography club, a hiking club, walking club, whatever it is. Try tennis, go bowling, do something. do activities and meet other people who are doing those activities, because the conversations, I've said it in other podcasts and conversations, like if you meet people who are doing something they truly love doing, that's the event.
Getting to September, feeling utterly connected to myself and utterly connected to the people in my life that matter and connected to the world around me.
If this is your first summer, a successful summer is learning something. You're going to keep it that simple. Did you learn something? Chances are you did, if you made it through the summer sober.
Welcome to No Alcohol Needed, the podcast. You are hanging out at the intersection of emotional wellness, personal growth, and living an alcohol-free life. Here we share everything we've learned and continue to learn about how to be happy, no alcohol needed.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to No Alcohol Needed, the podcast. So happy you're here today. I think everybody's kind of in fine form tonight, so this should be an interesting one.
Form, Julie.
Whatever.
Form.
I don't know what that is exactly, but you've been something. Anyway, thanks for being here, everybody. We're here with Amber and Barkley, and we're going to talk a little bit about summer, because summer's just around the corner, and we know that it brings up a lot of, I don't know, intimidating, scary feelings. It can feel like this like big impending disappointment that is staring you down. And we don't want your first sober summer to be a letdown. So we are going to share some thoughts. We're going to share some tools. We're going to get you set up for a summer that you can actually enjoy. So we're just going to dive into this and get started. When you first stopped drinking, so think back to like your very first summer, what parts of summer were the scariest? What were you the most nervous about?
July 4th.
Okay.
It sounds stupid, but like I was a beer and burger guy. And so July 4th was just like, kind of one of those big holidays that's just focused around pool, beach, barbecue, beer. I think Major League Baseball has home run derby as well. And that's kind of like a America's pastime where there's always beer at the games. And so that was something that I always was just like, how am I going to do July 4th? And concerts, we had like when I lived in Richmond, we had like Friday Cheers, which was like a little downtown island that had like a Friday night deal. Innsbrook After Hours had it was like a business office setting with like a amphitheater out there. So you had like two amphitheaters with music going on throughout the summer. And I'm like, well, this is going to be awkward. and, but I made it. We made it. I made it through.
Did you ever think about just not going or not doing any of that stuff? Was that tempting for you?
Yes. I mean, at first, I couldn't trust myself to be around it, and so I kind of removed myself, and then kind of slowly crept back in after had periods of sobriety. But my story is stopping and starting, and so early on, I never really felt comfortable being around it until now, and so it's just taken me a while to be comfortable with the music, with the football, with the things that we associate alcohol with. It's just taken me a little bit longer to feel comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, totally get that.
Yeah.
What about you, Amber? What parts did you feel the most nervous about heading into summer? You quit drinking in December, so you had like a good at least 4 or 5 months under your belt before you jumped into it.
Yeah. I did. I mean, I don't know. For me, I day one, I made a post on Facebook that I was sober. I went into detox and I came out like, okay, this is what I'm doing.
Mhm.
It was like major accountability. Everyone knew. Everyone was like, that's awesome. Congratulations. Good for you. And so, like, going to things wasn't, as scary, I guess, because I didn't have to like hide it or anything like that. For me
Mhm.
personally, I felt like it took a huge weight off of, hey, this is just what I'm doing. This is my path. But it's still, I was afraid like I wasn't gonna have fun.
Mhm.
I was really nervous about not being able to have fun.
Yeah.
um, because I was on a different level than everyone else. And so, at a certain point, so, the beginning was always great. I was, hi, how you doing? And everyone catches up. And, I think the first hour of just about all social activities for a good while was right around enough time for me.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel that for sure.
Yeah.
And I never had the words planned out for what I was gonna say if somebody asked me if I wasn't drinking. So, the one thing, even though right at the beginning I admitted to my immediate family that I had a problem, I wasn't ready to do that with my friends. And so, I remember the first barbecue because I was like, "What am I gonna do at social functions?" That's what it was. What am I gonna say to my friends when I'm not drinking the beer they're expecting me to drink?
Mhm.
And I think that was one of the hardest parts for me. That's kind of the part that scared me because I didn't wanna admit to them that I had a problem.
Yeah.
I already felt like a failure when I told my family. I didn't wanna feel like a failure when I told them. Like, I had had enough of it just being honest with them.
Mhm.
So, social functions, I think, were the hardest ones. Barkley, you mentioned barbecues, and you mentioned, I had a work golf tournament that I wanted to really go to. I really enjoyed playing golf, but
Yeah.
I didn't know what the heck I was gonna say to the people at work when I wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
I'm back to that same spot, the same spot that I said, like, what was I gonna say to them when they were like, "Here, have a beer," or I didn't wanna make up the excuse that I had a health problem because I didn't wanna go down the down the road of, "Oh, yeah, I went to the doctor," like, make up another story. I mean, I already made up a shit ton of stories as it was when I was drinking, so I
Yeah.
didn't need to make up any more when I was sober.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I tried my best to avoid the conversation, I tried my best to avoid going to the events, and I did. I went to a bunch of events anyways, but I definitely cut back.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I
I think
think
I was kind of along
yeah,
the lines of what Amber said. Like, I was just afraid that nothing was gonna be fun anymore. So 4th of July
that there was that too.
was huge. It's huge in my little town, like, that we have this big, 4th of July festival that's, like, 3 days long. It was always so much fun, and it also always involved so much beer.
Yeah.
And, that was your reason to start drinking at 10 AM if you felt like it. And, you're hanging out at the rodeos and all of that stuff. Like, I didn't even know if you could go to a rodeo and not drink. Like, I wasn't sure if that was a possibility. It didn't feel
Yeah.
like it at the time. Um, and, like, at social events in general, I just felt so uncomfortable in my own skin without alcohol anyway. So barbecues and family get-togethers and
Mm. That's a big
whatever,
one.
I didn't know how I was gonna navigate it all. And
Yeah.
then the one other thing that stands out to me is that's summers when there's, like, no structure, and I thrive on structure.
Oh,
Homeschooled my kids, right? So I had, like, a set routine, I know what to expect from every day, and summer is like it's a free for all. So I had every day just felt like chaos. Um, and I didn't know how to, like, navigate. I was so worried about what it would be like to navigate and having no structure and just all of the
oh,
whatever, every day being completely different. So there were definitely a lot of things that just alcohol soothed all of that for me, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then how do you face all of it without soothing it? So let's talk about like and to the point of not having fun, were there moments, especially in those earlier days, where you genuinely did feel either left out or disappointed? What did that look like for you guys?
For me, you just felt a space with people not calling you and reaching out to you, so it felt like a void of, like, he's not cool anymore, and you really find out who your friends are because that was, what am I, just a drinking buddy, So you have that kind of like, what am I, a chopped liver for alcohol? So you had that a lot going on that was kind of hurtful and hard to, get past. But you, you separate the good from the bad quickly, and you find out truthfully who your friends are. And so, but that was always hard. Of like, I thought we had something similar besides alcohol, but maybe not.
Right.
Maybe it was all alcohol. And so, but yeah, that was
Mhm.
hard for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think some people didn't invite me out to things because they wanted to help me stay safe.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Right. I think there was that part in there too, where it's like, we're going to go and do this thing, but uh, Steve doesn't drink and we're going to drink. So we won't send him a text. You know what I mean? Um, that feels shitty
yeah,
because you still want to be invited, even if you're going to say no.
right.
Uh, like that's that sense of still wanting to be people wanting you in their presence.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Uh,
I
yeah.
think
it,
if
Go
you
ahead.
have
Yeah.
friends that you can talk to, it would be so great, and I know that we have so many listeners that have felt exactly what you're talking about, Barkley, that people just stop calling, they stop inviting, and to Steve's point, we don't really know why. Like, we tell
yeah,
ourselves it's because we're not cool anymore, and because
yeah,
we make them uncomfortable because, like, we have these stories. But Steve's totally right, like, it could be for something really genuinely thoughtful. It's just that it's not the right version of thoughtful. I think if any friendship is valuable enough to you, to want to hold on to it, it's worth having that conversation and saying,
yeah,
"Hey, I'm not drinking, but I noticed that you're not inviting me out. Is there a reason for that?" That's super
yeah,
awkward, uncomfortable conversation. But
Yeah.
if you've got a friend that's close enough, that's important enough to you, I think it's
yeah,
worth it
right.
because chances are they've probably got your well-being in mind. It's just that nobody really knows how to go about it. Nobody wants to talk about it because it's like embarrassing and hush hush. So.
Yeah,
It's also something that's just not normalizes conversation, right? So, I mean, if I have a problem and you're doing something that I have the problem with, then bringing that up means having kind of a difficult conversation to begin with, and you're not going to know how I'm going to take it or whether I'm going to be offended by it or not. So, I think
yeah,
in some ways I need to be responsible for broaching that because I'm the
Mhm.
one that
yeah,
has I've got no better way to say this, but right now, but I'm the one that has the problem.
yeah,
So I think I need to take some of the responsibility to let them know what's safe for me and what isn't safe for
Mhm.
me. In
yeah,
that, I mean, I never found a podcast where anybody was talking about this, nor was I looking for one to know that I could just like have a conversation with a buddy and be like, "Hey, this is what's up.
yeah,
Let's find a
Mhm.
spot where we're cool. Can we do
yeah,
that?" Like, I didn't do that. I was just I just avoided it, or I didn't stand in front of it and take responsibility for it. I think there is a better way than the way I did it.
yeah.
For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now, Amber. Go for it.
Yeah, I can I don't know, I relate to parts of it. It was kind of opposite for me. I had like this core group of people that I hung out with. It was just like there was like no change, you know. It was still we still did the same kinds of hangouts. We hung out on the weekend, at my friend's house in the garage and people would come and go, it was that kind of like weekends. My friend would always make food and we'd watch football and I would go, and I would always go and I was always there and it was like nothing really changed. Um until I started catching on with myself that I wasn't really enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and
Huh.
so I kind of pulled away a bit. I just kind of stopped going, hanging out more, kind of at my house and learn how to be with myself, and in hindsight, it's funny we have this conversation. It hits a different node because I could have probably handled that. I didn't have the language then either, to say, "Hey, I'm sober now. I'm not drinking. I love seeing you guys, but I don't love seeing you guys in this environment. It really isn't like it's not my vibe. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
But like, can we find, can we is this a relationship where we can create something new, where we can create new ways to hang out, where we can do things?" I didn't really initiate that conversation, and I did let the resentment in. It's something actually I've just recently been thinking about. I kind of let the resentment in that those people didn't do it either. So a little sidetracky there, but yeah, it's conversation, I think, is just number one, in the beginning, because you can feel like people aren't inviting you and feel like it's because they're, because of you, but you have to have the conversation. And 9 times out of 10, they just aren't sure if you want to go, and they're afraid to invite you. They
Mhm.
don't want to make you feel pressured to come if you don't want to go. Like we try to manipulate other people's emotions, right? It's like what we do before we have the chance to do otherwise. And if I'm doing it, other
That
people are doing
happens
it.
both
Like we're all,
ways.
Oh, yeah.
it
Happens
happens
both
both ways.
ways.
Everyone's trying to protect each other's feelings, and therefore nobody's freaking talking. So
Right.
we're
Yeah.
all just going about our business, with these stories in our head.
Walking on
So
eggshells.
yeah,
Always.
communication is just key in the beginning, whether you're out loud and like I was, or you have those few friends that you see the most, where you're like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing, and I would really love to see what that looks like for our relationship, and see if we can find new ways to connect and
Mhm.
engage," and you go from there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, when I think about, like,
Yeah.
disappointed, like, I don't know, like, I still went to the girls' nights and stuff, that was kind of the place, I guess, where I would have drank the most, and I think it just felt like a little bit of a letdown because 'cause I'd been spending so much time in, like, groups of people who didn't drink that, like, we have cool conversations, we just do, like, we dig in, we're like, "All right, to heck with the weather
Yeah.
and the sports and the gossip, like, let's talk about the meaning of life,"
Yeah.
right? And so, I would feel disappointed when I went and hung out with anybody and the conversation just sat on the surface. I would just feel, like, small talk was utterly disappointing to me, and I lost all patience for it.
Yeah.
And, that's not just a summer thing, that was just in general. But then, like, I don't know, I remember going to my first concert without drinking, and I was so focused on what like, how much people were drinking and what they were drinking and, that's all I could pay attention to, and
Yeah.
it just was kind of blah. And I was bummed about that because okay, so the other thing that I've recognized is, like, it was a country music concert, right? Which I like country, it's great. It was Terry Clark, and she's
Mm.
lovely. Like, I grew up on that. I don't like country music when I'm sober, like, not live. I just don't. I don't enjoy live country music sober. Like, I think I might go try again here this summer, but so far, it hasn't been my vibe. But you take me to, like, Shinedown, give me some rock music, and, like, it's life-changing. So there's the
Mhm.
part where you're like, "Is this my thing? Is this not my thing?" And you just kinda have to weigh it out and figure it out. But some stuff I think I just realized, like, I just don't really enjoy doing it sober,
Yeah.
and that's okay too.
Yeah.
What about you? What was disappointing, Steve?
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Hmm. I hermited a fair amount.
Mhm.
Like, I would go out and I would go and do something like that company golf tournament or go to a barbecue or whatever that was. And the feelings that I got, the discomfort that I felt, um, I mean, I had to go and do them, but there was a lot of, like, there was a point, there were points where I believed that almost like a bottle of booze would jump out and fucking attack me. You know what I
Right?
mean? Like somehow it would just end up in my hand and I would drink it because I believed the stories. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And in some ways that was good for me, and in some ways that was bad for me because prevented me from going out and trying things, but it also made me go out and try things very slowly and more methodically, and I think that in the end worked to my benefit, not to my detriment.
Mm.
Had some time to grow, so I like the disappointing thing was not going and doing the things that I normally would have done,
Mhm.
and taking it slow and saying, essentially saying, this summer isn't gonna look like all of the other summers.
Yeah.
Right.
It is going to look very different, and I'm just gonna have to figure out what that very different actually is going to look like.
Mhm.
I didn't have a plan. I just kind of shot from the hip.
Mhm.
And if I was scared, I said no. And if I really, really wanted to do it, I said yes. And I just did it scared.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think
I
that's an important thing, like, that the first summer especially isn't gonna look like previous summers, it's just not, and
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you can't get back to the normal things, but
Yeah.
if you're in a place where it's a little shaky, if things are hard, if your head starts spinning really fast about, with those thoughts of drinking, there's a really good chance your first summer just needs to look a little different.
Yeah.
What were you gonna
Also,
say, Barkley?
you can,
Uh, I just remember being so in my head at concerts about the person that wasn't drinking, and then here I am, the person that's not drinking, and just thinking, "What are they gonna think about me?" Like, "I'm drinking water. I'm drinking nothing. What are they gonna do? They're looking at me. They're probably talking about me. They're talking about me right now." And I that was like that was in my head all the time with
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
It's just so in my head, and it's just like, I've
You
got a
can't
head
enjoy the
problem.
moment because you're so stuck in all the thoughts that are going everywhere, right?
Yeah, and you're preoccupied with, what is it, rumination or something,
Rumination, yeah.
where you're just focused on other things and not fully enjoying the moment, you know?
Mhm.
And so that was always hard for me in the beginning too. So,
Yeah.
I just thought about that.
Great point. Steve, did you have something else?
a lot of what we're saying right now sounds like summer is going to be dreadful.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
lot
I
of
mean,
everything we've said so far. If you're like, heck yeah, I want to have an amazing sober summer. Like, I'm gonna go and do these things. Like, you still can, by the way. You still
Yeah.
can. You can still have fun. I
Yeah.
did have fun. Also, I found that I enjoyed the little things a lot more,
Mhm.
way more. Like, my youngest daughter learned how to ride a bike, and I was like jumping, enjoying, and like it was. I had an absolute blast doing that, and I had an absolute blast pushing my kids on the swing. Like, there were there were things
Yeah.
that I
Mhm.
don't remember having an absolute blast doing that felt like work.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things that were like connecting with some of the people that I cared in my life, and those were like really amazing moments to share.
Mhm.
And the things that I celebrated felt way greater than celebrating when I was drinking.
Mhm.
And so I had this weird like dichotomy thing, paradox, where in one instance I felt like I was missing something, and in the same instance I was also gaining something.
For real. Yeah.
Oh,
So like you get this pull in both ways, and one is that I'm missing it, and the other one is like I'm getting something back. And if I could sit in the spot or continue to find the spot where I was getting something back, and I think I'm getting far a little ahead on it, but if I was getting something back and have focused on what I was getting back, I had a blast. I had fun
yeah.
in
Mhm.
between all of that other stuff. Like, it was an emotional roller coaster. Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm causing a wreck over here. I'm causing a wreck. That's okay. It's all right. We had snow in the mountains. Just driving on ice.
Came in like a wrecking ball. Miley
Seriously, need to fix
Amazing.
this mic
Miley Cyrus.
situation. So,
you know what?
Visual.
So good.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
So let's talk about it. For all of the stuff that was hard, for all the stuff we were scared of, what parts of summer, especially in the earlier days, were actually really, really great? Like now that we've talked about, like I want people to realize, like it's normal to kind of feel like you're missing out sometimes, but also what's the good stuff? Because there is good stuff for sure.
I mean, it kind of goes to your point, Julie. I vividly remember going to a bachelor party in Florida and being the only guy not drinking with all the festivities and going to a Kenny Chesney concert in Tampa and just being like, wow, just like, oh my gosh, are y'all catching this? Like, there's somebody dying over here. There's a fight going on over here. They're having an argument because somebody cheated on somebody. Like, there's a lot going on to this concert. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, it was like mind blowing.
Mhm.
And
Did you also realize you didn't spend near as much time in the bathroom?
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just
there's
saying.
that.
I think I wrote that down for a later question answer, but yes, you're there not missing songs and missing plays in a game because you're not going to the concession stand getting $24 beers,
Right.
and so it. But I don't know. I left thinking that experience gave me hope that like, man, maybe I can do this again and have the same experience of watching people get shit faced. This is pretty fun, like this isn't bad, like, so that was like the first nugget of like, I think I can maybe do that. I could one day at a time, I could possibly do this.
So when you were
Right.
like this, at least this summer, did you see that ninja catch there? I caught that thing on the way down.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Cat-like
funny.
reflexes, Miley
Yeah.
Cyrus. You got the whole thing. Anyways, did you? So you went from the guy that was done at the concert that would walk past the dumpster and then look around to see if anyone was around because you really had to go, and you were like, "Can I or can't I?"
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
But you didn't have to do that anymore.
No. I
See
mean,
the things you have to look forward to.
it's a real, like, if you think about the time, energy, and money you spend getting to and from a game, to and from a concert, of like trying to figure out, can you get the beer? Can you get an ice chest? Can you sneak it in? That's a lot of energy of like getting, and then like, can you drink enough to get a buzz, but not show that you're an alcoholic? Like it's like a freaking, it's like an internal game of like, how can I do this? Get drunk, have fun, get out of here, and be okay. Like it.
Right.
That was always in my head of how can I drink enough and put them behind the couch or put them in the forest or throw them over the fence and keep watching the game. Maybe not pee too much because if I'm peeing too much, she's gonna think I'm drinking too. Like it was a thing.
Mhm. Oh,
Mhm.
for sure.
There's
Yeah.
a lot going on up there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It is.
It is, and then when you find that it's a shift that you can find that you can do this without doing that is a freeing experience. And then when you have people that appreciate and know what you're doing, it builds this empowerment of like, I'm Batman. I can do this. Like it's like, with great power comes great responsibility. I've got this. Like it's just, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a shift. And I don't know
Mhm.
when that happens, but it happens. And it's
Mhm.
fucking cool when it does. Sorry,
Definitely.
Nola.
For sure.
Hopefully she can't hear me. My voice travels.
What about you, Amber? What part was great? What's the good stuff?
Oh gosh, I remember there was this one day, my boyfriend at the time and his daughter and I went to this local beach, and there weren't very many people there. It was like a town beach, and I just remember, and I have a photo of it, and I had posted it on Facebook, and I just sat there and I was like, I had never realized how green the grass was and like how blue the sky was. It was like I was looking at a Monet painting. I was like just sitting there, at this very simple beach. But I really, for the first time, was just like, wow, it's such a beautiful day. Not just like the
Yeah.
conversation stuff that you say, like weather small talk, like, oh, it's a nice day today. I like sat there and was like really like taken aback for a minute. The breeze was blowing just right. And like, I was just there for it. There was
Yeah.
just that snap moment where I was like, I am so fucking present right now. Like,
Mhm.
this is wild. How
Yeah.
have I not noticed how blue the sky is? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It was like when
Yeah.
I got glasses for the first time, and I walked out of the vision center at, the store I went to at like a Sam's Club, and I was like, wow, everything's really bright and really clear. It was like that same feeling. It was like I
Mhm.
had glasses, brand new glasses, vision.
Yeah.
Everything looked brighter and was crisper and just it was really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really beautiful moment to just kind of be present and realize that presence
Mhm.
in the things. So
For sure.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the
There
things
was
when
some
we
other
talk
moments
about
too.
being present, for me, one of the things was being really present with my kids, especially. Like, summer was county fair season. That's where we're hauling, horses and dogs and chickens and turkeys and ducks and whatever other animals to the fair and watching them
Uh,
do their thing and do their shows and all of that stuff. And like, I would have kept a buzz going all the way through the raising of these animals and the training of these animals all the way up until the fair. And I would have been about half there. Like, I would remember it. It's not like I was
yeah.
blackout drunk all the time, but I was always half checked out.
Yeah.
And to get to watch everything and be fully invested and fully engaged and fully present with my kids was a really cool experience. And um, the joy that you feel when little things happen is
Mhm.
so big after you quit drinking. We can't numb only the bad stuff, right? So when we're drinking, we're also numbing all the good stuff. So when the bad stuff is hard, yeah, but then the good stuff is so freaking great. That's the green grass and the blue sky, right?
Mhm.
Like the happiness and the joy gets so like overwhelmingly great sometimes that you almost like you're like brought to tears over these
Mm.
simple little things that are suddenly so precious. I remember spending some time hiking. I mean, I've always been a hiker and super active and outdoorsy, and I always did it at least either hungover or a little bit buzzed or, looking forward to the buzz at the end of it, whatever it was. But to go hiking and be in the forest and be like months sober, it's been, there's nothing affecting my brain was
Mhm.
just like overwhelming. It was all of the smells and all of the sounds and all of the just like, oh my God, I'm so small and this world is so big. And even the
Yeah.
feelings and all of that. It was just I don't know, it was big and it was beautiful and it was really intense joy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, how
Yep.
long did it take you guys to actually start feeling like things were fun or like feeling more comfortable and natural? What kind of timeline was that for you?
Um, I don't really know. I know that summers is kind of one of those milestones where it's like a birthday, Super Bowl, a New Year's Eve, where you just have to do it so many times to where it doesn't feel so awkward and weird.
Mhm.
And summer's another example of just going through. It's different because your kid is out of school, so it's a little hectic more. So she's not in school time the whole time, making your life should be regimented, but mine's not really. But anyway, it's supposed to be. But it makes it a little bit more chaotic. But you have to allow yourself to go through the seasons, like the four seasons, if you will, of a summer or a birthday or New Year's Eve to experience the soberness of it and be uncomfortable with it because it's weird, the stuff you do for the first time is weird,
Yes.
like it's just weird, like Nola doesn't know how to ride a bike. It's weird to her. She's 10. She doesn't know how to ride a bike. It's a little weird, but it's weird to her. And so, it's getting sober, was weird to me. And it took me just enough time to be uncomfortable before it got comfortable. And that was, staying committed no matter what to not drinking and being like, it's gonna suck. I don't like it. but I have to do it, you know? And it's, you have to fight through it. And then each year it gets a little bit easier. And then you get to the point where you're, going to Vegas by yourself and in a penthouse, drinking non-alcoholic beer, listening to Dave and thinking your life is grand when we know it's not, but we think it is, but we know it's not.
In that moment, it is, right? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
We don't have to look at the grand scheme of things. We're talking about mindfulness here, being present in the
Right.
moment. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like it took a solid year to just like go through every like 365 days, every holiday, every thing, because then, the following year it was like, okay, I've been here. I know what this looks like. That first year is really very much like, I don't know what any of this looks like. I'm just gonna show up and I'm gonna see how I feel. And then, I might be good, I might not. I think, going into it with maybe no expectations is just, just to go into it and it's an experiment. You don't know. And however you feel when you get there, or, whatever social outing or whatever, is going on. It's like, it's okay to have a feeling about it. It's okay. And then it's okay to act on the feeling. It's okay to be like, I'm feeling a little squirrely. I think I'm gonna call it a night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home. There was plenty of nights where it was like I'd be out and all I could think about was like going home and cuddling with my
Yeah.
cat. And I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a crazy cat lady, but yeah, definitely just that first, it took a good year to just kind of see what everything was going to look like. And then the following year was like, all right, where do I need to make adjustments, or what do I maybe not need to attend this year, or
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
So it's a lot
Mm.
like getting a new job, right? When you get a new job, you go in, you start out, it's really uncomfortable, you have no idea what you're doing, and there's a part of you that's just like, "I can't do this, I just wanna leave," right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're in over your head a little bit. Amber's nodding, she's like, "Oh my god, I was just there." But that's what it's like when you
yep,
start a new position and you feel everything's awkward, everything's weird, you don't know how to do any of the things, and it's all this big unknown, and it's really uncomfortable. And then you do it enough times that it becomes comfortable and you're like, oh, this is like nothing. This is fine. This is so
Yeah.
easy. Like it comes naturally. And it's
Yeah.
just a matter of like, it's okay that you're uncomfortable. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing the job. It just means you haven't learned how to do the job yet.
Yeah.
And eventually you
It-
get there.
fact.
Yeah.
It's funny how you used the example of it's like getting a job, and the example that I have on my head, or on my head, in my head, whatever. There's a bald spot up there. It's probably there. You have one too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's getting
yeah,
bad.
Yeah. All right. That's fine. It's.
Yeah. Probably why I'm single. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna digress. I will digress. I had this image in my head of me standing on the end of a dock, and I'm standing on the end of the dock watching this dude
Sitting or standing?
water
sorry.
skiing and just flying by me with a smile on his face, going over the wake and just having a blast. And then the boat pulls up and the guy lands and he gets off and they're like, now it's your turn. And you've never done it before.
Mm.
That dude's been sober for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you want me to do that? And you've never done that before. And you're
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
it looks fun because you see somebody else who's sober and is having a blast
Yeah.
and loving life.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have to strap that shit on and I have to go behind that motorized vehicle in water and stay on my feet. No. I'm not like, you're good. I'll watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll watch.
I'll watch.
Yeah.
Right? And then but you strap them on and you go and do the thing, and maybe you fall down a couple of times and you finally get up and you finally go and it feels good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the first year.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I spent all that time describing the first year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
After that, you're like, shit, that was fun.
Yeah.
It was also terrifying.
Yeah.
I want to try that again. So then you try it again, and you get back up, and this time the motor fires up, and the dude's driving, and he doesn't gun it the first time, so the handle doesn't fly out of your hands. Either way,
Yeah.
you get up and you start water skiing again.
Mhm.
You go to the next event, you do the next summer sober, you do the next, like Amber says, once you get like one of those under your belt and you make
Yeah.
it through, you
Yeah.
have some sort of idea what it can probably look like. And the chances are, if you spin some different perspective on it, you can show up in a different way and actually make it fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's what I have for that.
Yeah. What things are actually a lot of fun without alcohol that you weren't expecting to, like, really enjoy doing? Is there other stuff that comes up that you were that I know, like, for me, the most enjoyable parts of summer now, the most enjoyable parts of anything are, like, the peace and the calm and the relaxing and the like, when I go camping now without alcohol, I am totally good going to bed when the sun goes down and reading a book in my tent and
Mhm.
loving every minute of it, and, like, that is pure bliss for me now, instead of sitting around a campfire until 2 a.m. getting shit-faced, right?
Yeah.
And saying things that I regret and then waking up in the
Yep.
morning with, so, like, little things like that, and it sounded when I was still drinking, the idea of going to bed at 8 p.m. in a tent and reading a book was sounded so boring.
Mhm.
But there's this shift that happens where these, like, little peaceful things are just absolute bliss now. Like, they're luxury.
I think for me, I realized how shallow the conversations were when you were drinking, that you didn't really dive into the meat of life. And so once you had some of those sober epiphanies or spiritual experiences, your brain was more focused on having these conversations of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, where you really feel like you connected with somebody over a 12 pack, but it was over, the 12 steps, essentially, to where you shared your heart, your mind, your soul, and then somebody did too, talking about their trauma and about, yeah, my family's fucked up. Yeah, mine too, man. It sucks. I know that's why I drank. I know, I peed in the bed all the time. All this stuff where it's like, I know I'm there.
As
Like
Barkley
I
slips
get it.
that one in there.
Kinda little zinger in there. But you really, it's that connection that is more than just about the alcohol, but it's like you really feel like you know the person and you've walked with them and you've experienced some of the stuff, and it's really kind of cool when that happens in AA or outside AA. But you have all these random people together that have different experiences but the same feelings, and so it's fun to meet somebody that shares your background or your life or your story, and you can really connect with them in a way of like, yeah, I I don't know my dad, my family is weird, like, and you really can dig into that and really connect over it. Is kind of a bonding experience. So that's the fun part of bonding over real material, real life is fun.
That's, like, exactly what you and I did when I was in Louisiana. Like, Barkley and
Yeah.
I, like, barely knew
Yeah.
each other, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be driving through your town. You wanna get together?" We ended up having dinner and talking for, like, 2 hours or something. It was
Yeah.
great. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
It was a good
Um,
time.
yeah.
We were just throwing our junk on the table.
It's so good, though. Like, that is real conversation and connection that most of us don't
Yeah.
get or
Yeah.
didn't anyway.
Yeah. I probably say too much too fast.
I think maybe we all do at some point, especially once you get to this sober space. You get more
Yeah,
comfortable talking, right?
exactly.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it can be good and bad all at once, I guess, but
We do it every week on a podcast, so it's all
right.
good.
Exactly.
There are so many times where I'm like, "Oh, shit, I probably shouldn't have." Yeah,
Yeah,
but here we are.
100%.
What about you, Steve? Are there any other, like, little special things that stand out to you now? Or Amber? Anybody?
Now more than ever, it's it's the people.
Mhm.
The one thing I'll say now, still, after 5 years, at the beginning, it was the people, and still today, it's still the people. Like, that's the one thing that's never changed. People have come and gone. Anyone that's gone, someone else has shown up.
Mhm.
I've also been willing to accept what's shown up and what's left. That's hard too. Uh, but it's the people, it's those conversations. That is the most valuable thing I've gained.
Mhm.
It's not a thing, it's completely intangible.
For sure. Yeah. So much opportunity for real connection that
Yeah.
creates, like, this really deep sense of meaning instead of just getting wasted and having these epic adventures you don't remember the next day, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've had epic adventures now
Sober.
Yeah.
that I've vividly remember.
Right.
I've had, epic failures that I vividly remember. I remember these conversations that I get to have with people, and I'm lucky enough that people show up to try and impact my life,
Yeah.
and sometimes I get the opportunity to impact others.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, that's after this amount of time, that's probably the greatest gift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, so I'll wrap it up here with our last question.